Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another election prediction. This time we're doing the Joe Biden versus Donald Trump matchup. It is the most likely matchup to occur in the 2024 election, just because Biden and Trump are leading in both of their respective primaries by like 50 points or something like that. Some polls have Trump at like in the high 50s or even hitting the low 60s in the Republican primary at this point. So really two uncompetitive primaries now. But going into this, we could take a look at the nationwide polling. So far, it actually has Trump up 0.8 because he did have a Trump plus 10 poll result, which is definitely an outlier. But again, Trump's doing a lot better in the polls than he was before, so that's definitely going to show on this map of him gaining in the Electoral College. But I think another factor we have to take in here is incumbency advantage. In the 2012 election, we saw Obama go from 0.8 in the polls, and he actually won by about 4%. In 2020, we saw Biden up by 7 points, and Biden only won by 4.5%. So, in both of those elections with an incumbent president, the incumbent president managed to get 3% additional support and to finish off with the final result. So, if we were to apply that here with Biden as the incumbent president, Biden would win the popular vote by he would gain about 3%. So he would win by about 2.8% or so. But I think Biden's probably going to end up winning the popular vote by around that margin as well. We also have to factor in all these indictments against Trump will definitely hurt him with independent voters as well. And especially with all these, there's a few trials that are happening before the election even starts. That's definitely going to have a bit of an influence on this election as well. It'll definitely help in the primary, though. That's one thing it'll definitely say. But let's get right into this, finishing off all the safe states. All right, so we're going to start off with the safer-ish states. We didn't really fill in all the safe states already, but we're just filled in the most obvious ones. Starting off with Colorado, it's obviously a safe blue state. Again, it's just getting more and more liberal every election. I really don't see Biden losing this state to Donald Trump. In Iowa as well, I think this is a safe Republican state. It's just been trending more and more Republicans, a very, very rural state. Even though in the past they voted for Democrats by big margins, it looks like the Republicans from now on are just going to win the state by a likely to safe Republican margin. I think Trump probably wins Iowa by about 10 points or so against Biden as of right now. And I don't think Biden's really going to invest in Iowa. I think he sees it as a lost cause, or so you will. I don't think he's really going to contest it. Okay. The state of Maine. I think this is pretty much a safe blue state at this point. I really don't think Trump would have a really good shot here. The only thing he could get out on Maine is Maine's second, which I think at this point he'll win by 5 points or so against Joe Biden. So wins it by a likely margin. Okay, going down to the next few states. Ohio. Again, I just don't think it'll be safe red as of right now. I still think Trump's going to win it by a likely margin. He's probably going to win it by 8 to 9 points, so 8.5% victory margin, Ohio. I see it going on. I do think Biden will try to contest this state just to help out Sherrod Brown down ballot here. Because again, if Trump wins Ohio by 10, it's really hard for Sherrod Brown to win, considering he has to get hundreds of thousands of split ticket voters to split their tickets while also voting for Trump to vote for him. He needs a lot of Trump voters to break that ballot down in favor of Brown here. But I think Biden would still try to contest Ohio, but he wouldn't put as much resources here. But he needs to stop it from going safe red, otherwise Sherrod Brown might be in a bit of trouble. But for now, I think Trump wins Ohio by 8.5. In Alaska, I think it goes down below a 10% margin. Again, there's a lot of Democratic trends in the state going in favor of the Democrats long term. So I think Trump probably wins Alaska by about 9 points right now. Pretty much like a similar margin to Ohio or so. But it'll still continue to get more and more blue as we go on. The state of Florida, this is a very lost cause for Democrats. I don't think Biden should contest the state at all. So far, Biden has showed some interest in trying to win Florida. I just don't think it's possible. I think a lot of Cuban voters have shifted against the Democrats by a lot. And just based off their election results in 2022, it was a bloodbath for Democrats in Florida. The only positive of campaigning in Florida is you keep those House districts down there, the remaining ones blue, because those districts, there's a couple of them that could flip congressionally. But that's probably in the future. It wouldn't probably happen in 2024 because they would have flipped already in 2022, which is a redder year in Florida. But so far, I think Trump wins Florida by about 8 points. Again, it's just a very likely Republican state. It's probably going to keep trending in favor of the Republicans long term. Texas. With Trump doing better in the popular vote, maybe he gets Texas to a likely margin. But then again, I really think the blue trends in Texas kind of outweigh that. I still think Biden wins the popular vote by 2.8% or 2.9%. I'll just say 2.9 for now. I still think he wins a popular vote by that margin because of incumbency advantage. But with Texas, again, still the statewide polls show Texas as a decently close race. Trump's not really leading by a likely margin in some of the Texas polling. I still think Trump does have a very good shot at winning Texas. I think it's only like a very low chance that Biden actually wins here. Maybe like a 5% chance if it's a blowout, which very unlikely. There has to be a lot of margin of errors for Biden to pull off a win in Texas. So far, I think Trump wins Texas by 4.5%, just under the 5% margin. All right, the next few states. New Mexico and Virginia. I'm demoting them from safe blue to likely blue just based off Trump doing better on the popular vote now. It's definitely going to come at the cost of Biden only winning Virginia by about 9 points, and same with New Mexico. He only wins by about 9 as of right now. Just with Trump doing better in the polling, he's definitely going to drag these states down from safe to likely. Okay, the next few states. New Hampshire. I think this is a pretty safe bet for Biden. Even though he's underperforming in the national popular vote, statewide polls still have him as a clear leader in New Hampshire, sometimes even by a safe blue margin. But as of right now, I think Biden, he still wins it by under 10. He'll probably win New Hampshire by about 9 points or so as of right now. Minnesota, this is another state that's pretty confident that it'll still go to Biden by a likely margin. I think he'll win Minnesota by about 7 points against Donald Trump. I really don't see Trump appealing to a lot of independent voters here. I think they'll just end up going for Biden again. Plus, Minnesota's probably going to keep its Democratic streak. It has the longest Democratic streak of any state, and I still think it'll hold up going forward. Nebraska second. This is another district that's honestly going well for Biden. I think he'll win Nebraska second by about 6 or 7 points. Let's put it at 6.5% against Donald Trump going into 2024. Don't really think Trump has a chance at flipping the suburban district that's constantly trending blue every election cycle. And with Biden winning Nebraska second, that probably helps out Democrats down ballot here at flipping the House race potentially. Okay, the next state, North Carolina. I'm putting this as a lean Republican state just with Trump doing better in the national popular vote. That'd probably translate into a bigger victory for him in North Carolina than before. So it moves from tilt Republican to lean Republican for now. And the state of Georgia. So far, there's a lot of approval rating polls that are looking pretty bad for Biden here. Some polls have Trump actually doing better in the favorability ratings in Georgia. And with Biden's low approval rating numbers in Georgia, so far I see Georgia as a narrow tilt GOP flip, just because Biden's definitely underperforming with African American voters lately in the polls. He's definitely not getting as big margins with them lately. But that could change. They could get more energized by the 2024 election to vote for Joe Biden. But for now, I have it as a narrow tilt GOP flip until we see more polls come out from the state of Georgia. But just based off Biden's low approval ratings here, it's probably a tilt GOP flip. Nevada, I'm not buying that Trump's going to flip Nevada, but it will be a bit more competitive than usual. I still think Democrats have an edge here. They'll have higher turnout, especially with Democrats in Nevada in an election year, which they didn't have as high a turnout in 2022, but they still managed to win just due to independent voters going their way. And with Trump running, he's like talking about, bragging about ending abortion and getting those justices in the Supreme Court that did it. I see Biden hammering Trump with ads about Trump being anti-abortion in the state of Nevada. It should definitely help Biden out winning this state. I still think Arizona also will go tilt Democratic as well. It went from lean down to tilt just because of Trump performing better in the popular vote polls. I want to see more swing state polling out of Arizona as well. I do think it'll be a bit more competitive than it was a few months ago, which is why I'm putting it as tilt blue for now. Okay, 3 states that the election comes down to, the Rust Belt. So far, I see Trump actually flipping Wisconsin by a narrow tilt margin just because of him doing better in the national popular vote polls. Even though some polls have Biden actually leading in Wisconsin, it's only by a very small margin. And if Trump is actually improving on the polls by as much as they say, Trump 0.8%, even though we factor in incumbency advantage, Biden 2.8%, I still think Wisconsin's a narrow flip for Donald Trump as of right now, unless the things change the popular vote. But for now, I see him doing a bit better. Again, Wisconsin polling, it's very fickle. It's really not amazingly accurate both ways. It could shift, but for now, I think Trump's going to narrowly flip the state. Okay, the state of Michigan. I still think this state's pretty safely with Biden here. I think Biden probably wins Michigan by about 1.5% as of right now. Again, they have a trifecta in Michigan. It's definitely going to help Democrats, that trifecta. It's probably going to make it a bit easier to vote here in Michigan as well, which would definitely boost turnout, which is a good thing for Biden to get higher turnout in the urban areas. But still think Michigan's pretty with Biden as of this point. Pennsylvania. There is some bright news for Joe Biden. There's a recent poll that actually has Trump's favorability worse in Pennsylvania by quite a bit compared to Biden's favorability in PA. So one benefit is Biden's seat is a lot more favorable in the state of Pennsylvania, which is why I'm going to be narrowly giving him the state as of right now, a tilt Biden state. Really, I think Trump's best path to victory is he needs to win in Pennsylvania. If he's not winning in Pennsylvania, he's probably, well, losing. Unless he has like a path through Arizona or Nevada. That could be an alternative path he could explore, but independents usually vote against Republicans in both these states. So then again, maybe his best bet is Pennsylvania. But the election basically hinges on this state. And as of right now, I think Biden's narrowly going to take it based off of the favorability polling I've seen out of here. And just based off how in 2022 Democrats actually did quite well in Pennsylvania in the Senate race and in the governor race. We have those results to back up Biden narrowly edging out Trump here. But it'll be a lot closer of an election as of right now in 2024. The race definitely shifted in favor of Trump by a few points. And you can see that from my last video from September to October, if you compare them. But other than that, I would greatly appreciate it if you would subscribe to the channel. It'd help me out a lot. And I highly recommend leaving a comment down below. Do you disagree with me? Do you think Trump is the favorite to win the election? Or do you think Biden's the favorite? Or do you think Biden will win more electoral votes than what he's winning right now in a narrow contest? But other than that, I would put Biden's odds at winning at about 58% and Trump's odds at winning at about 42% for the Electoral College. Alrighty, I'll see y'all in the next video. Thanks for watching.